There is an infinite amount of ideas, and with them, infinite pathways to creativity. I asked several people from different fields to tell me more about how they create and the roadblocks they face in the process.
Depending upon what I'm working on, I come at things different ways. If there's a commonality to what I do, I'm kind of a build and destroy kind of artist designer. I generally approach something very rough, very general, and I'll broad strokes, and I'll kind of hammer that into place, for a while. And then when a form starts to develop or a solution starts to develop, then I'll either physically or conceptually back off, I guess, and kind of tear it apart and figure out what's working about it, and then kind of take the pieces that I like, lay them back on the table, and try to build something from that again. And I'll do that process often.
I once saw a writer named Pico Iyer. He begins writing with a question that he can answer because that helps him sort of get into it. And then he writes until he's arrived at a completely unanswerable question. How can I live my life in hope? Right? Something like a question you can follow and explore, but not one that is easily answered. And then he knows he's coming near to something that's worth saying.
I definitely think of lesson plans in the shower or when I'm about to fall asleep. And sometimes on the way home. I think me being a creative person generally, I try to make school fun and exciting for kids because it wasn't necessarily that way for me, especially in social studies. And so I kind of think of what I would have enjoyed doing when I was in 8th grade social studies, and that definitely helps me. In terms of regular life though, I feel definitely a lot more creative if I'm going hiking or I'm in a city or just somewhere different than the everyday walking around doing the same thing in the same place.
I embrace making a gigantic sloppy mess before I figure out what I'm gonna do, right? So I don't do what I think we would consider free writing. I'm usually kind of more focused than that, but I do let myself go in different directions. So say I'm writing an avocado, but then I'm writing about a bus trip. I didn't mean to get on a bus. I was supposed to be with this avocado. I let myself get on the bus, right? So, and then afterwards, perhaps that was scaffolding that I needed, and that happens in the editing phase, that I might get rid of some of these tangents that I follow. But I like to see them all because the brain is kind of a messy place, right? There's a lot going on in there, and when we're making something, we want to give it to someone else to have an experience in, right? So I think it's good to get it down on a page or whatever your medium is where you can see it, and then you can, then you can do that editing process.
When I'm coming up with ideas, my brain is the most cluttered thing on the face of the planet. It's like a hoarder's house. It's ridiculous. Everything is just flying everywhere, and there are different ideas that are trying to merge together even though they don't make any sense together.
For ideas to join together in new and creative ways, you have to relax and allow those ideas to sort of just fill your head and bounce around together.
That's what Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi would call flow, where time doesn't even seem to pass. It's 3 hours and you didn't even realize it. To be frank, I don't know how successfully I've hit that zone of flow. I do have some moments when I'm feeling that I'm being more productive, that things are happening better. I don't know, to be honest, that I've ever hit that real sweet spot where hours can pass and you don't even realize it.
As organized of a person as I am, I don't think I necessarily come up with ideas in an organized way. I just kind of let my brain go. And then eventually things pop out and they're unique and they're interesting. And I don't think they can necessarily come out of an organized mind just because that's just not how my mind works.
I think you'd see like this. Like that. Because I have to kind of bring it back down to figure out what's going on, but then there's moments of excitement and surprise. I hope. No surprise for the writer, no surprise for the reader.
I don't think you'd go down, spike and go down. I think it would be a sustained, it would be faster than as if you were bored, you know, sitting around drowsy. But I don't think you'd be like, it wouldn't be like you're at a party dancing or anything like that.
Mine is definitely not flat.
No, it's not.
Because I go all over the place. I also get distracted a lot. So when I'm in the creative state, like I'm always focused, but I'm like, oh my gosh, and this could work, and this could work, and this could work. So, and my mind is racing, so it's definitely spiky all over the place.
I think it would be extremely steady for basically the entire time, except there would be like those singular moments where it would quicken a little bit, just because like you have that realization, you have that thing that hits you, and you're like, holy crap, I got this. So those moments I think really hit me, but for the most part, just the writing process and the design process, all of art really just calms me down and brings me to a center, and I think it would just kind of be well, not flatline, I wouldn't be dead, but
Red Bull and some creativity can get you a long way in teaching, especially the first couple years.
Coffee and water definitely is really, really helpful, because if I don't have coffee, I feel like my brain's like, ugh. So I just have to have something to like keep me going.
my headspace is very important to me when I write, so I think the only external stimuli that I really have is how I'm feeling, what's happened to me that day, just kind of impacting what I'm doing and what comes out of it.
If I'm being honest, yeah, there's going to be coffee involved. Other things, not so much, although my yoga teacher tells me that there are, if you do cross body and cross brain exercises, even something like, you can do various twists and things, but even something as simple as patting your head with one hand and rubbing your belly with the other hand, it crosses circuits in your brain, and that this can actually stimulate thinking.
That whole idea that a stimulant makes your brain work better, that's just crap. That's an adolescent point of view upon the process. Either the idea's in you or it's not. Either you grow it and it's strong and it's ready to come out, or it's not. No amount of caffeine can make an idea be better. You know, it might make you work a little faster. It might help you stay up till 4 in the morning and take that piece of crap and put it on a piece of paper. But then you've got a piece of crap on a piece of paper.
I have seen research that talks about the effect of caffeine on basic motor skills. You can type better with a cup or two of coffee, but then it has a deleterious effect after you take 5 or 6 cups. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't think in terms of creativity that there's much to be said for it.
I think meeting people is really important, and there are times where it can inhibit my flow, just because when you meet a person you see, oh, this is like a real person. I really want to do them justice. I don't want to just make something up. I want to do it like perfectly, basically, because I have a connection with them now directly. But at the same time, I don't think I could produce any of the work that I produced without that connection.
If I get into the zone where I'm writing, and because sometimes when I'm writing poetry and the words are just like flowing out of me, don't talk to me. I can't deal with people, because if they disrupt the flow, sometimes I can't pick it back up. But in terms of getting creatively inspired, I love being around other people, because like I said, it's so cool how I'm starting to allow the world to impact me and my creative process. So like really anything can set me off, and I'm like, that's a great idea. That's really profound. So yeah, it just depends on what state I'm in.
I think it definitely depends on the kid. It depends on the person. Some of my kids, they're Lone Rangers. They put their headphones in, they get their work done, and they get an A, and that's what they do. They don't really work well with others. Some of my kids, though, that's what actually helps them to succeed in school and to actually get their work done. So I think it really just depends on the person.
When I'm in the zone and I'm in the flow of, like, especially as an actress, people joke with me about like being a method actor, which I think that has a weight to it that I don't think is 100% accurate for a lot of people. I don't know what I am. I just know that I really, really cannot interact with people at all during the process of doing a show or a film. It's really, really hard for me.
When I can tell that a lesson really connects with my students, that's when it makes it all worth it. All of the late night planning, all of the me cutting out things until 2 o'clock in the morning and doing all this prep for all of my lessons and spending half my life making copies. If I can see it on the one kid's face that they connected with that they understand the past better, that they understand their world better, it's so worth it for me, and that's why I come back and do what I do every day.
As a Black actress, I've been told there are certain roles I won't be able to play, and just people telling me I couldn't do things, and I'd be like, why are you so angry, when I got frustrated, annoying things, and I'd been facing that my whole time here. And then I had an audition in Louisville. It was on Easter Sunday, and I was sad because I couldn't be in church, and I was walking into the theater for my audition, and I was praying, and I said, Lord, I just want to bring joy into the space, and I just want to glorify you with my work. And I went into the audition room, and I had the most fun I never had. And it was because I think it was because I was shedding all of the weight that I was allowing other people to put on me in terms of like what I can and can't do, and I was just having fun and being myself and bringing glory to God. And so that was kind of my aha moment.
Creativity has always been a big thing for me since I was a kid. In elementary school, I would make up worlds for me and my friends to play in during recess. It was always just something that happened for me. But I think creativity became a huge part for me when I started to come to terms with the fact that I was gay. As I was realizing it, I was very stuck inside myself because I didn't want anybody to know. I was scared. So when I started to kind of talk about that within myself and listen to other people's stories, like I spent hours and hours like on YouTube watching coming out videos because absorbing those stories helped me create mine. So doing that, I think it's all about just sharing my story, and I create so that I don't have all those things pent up inside, so that other people who are going through similar things can kind of experience them along with me and grow through that shared experience.
After listening to all of these stories, here are some techniques to get to that aha moment. Number 1, build and destroy. Number 2, ask unanswerable questions. Number 3, clear your head. And number 4, don't worry about being organized. What I've learned most is, creativity isn't a talent, creativity is a responsibility.